Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanacharya Yamunatira Vanacharya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanacharya Yamunatira Vanacharya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gora Premanandi Hari Hari Hare Krishna Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayed Nasta Prayesha Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I'm going to ask our dear God brother Dravida Prabhu to chant the Sanskrit. It is not like a regular shloka.
Something else. Salvir patir api sujana samabhakata padamatma satatva atman yevidyatyaaropitam chadehatma matim visasarja evam hi nripa bhagavad ashrita shritanubhavaha.
Thank you. Translation. After receiving lessons from the great devotee Jadabharat, King Rahugana of the state of Sauvira became completely aware of the constitutional position of the soul. He thus gave up the bodily conception completely. My dear king, whoever takes shelter of the servant of the Lord is certainly glorified because he can without difficulty give up the bodily conception. Purport. As stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 2254, Sadhusanga sarva shastre kai, lavamatra sadhusanga sarva siddhi hai. It is a fact, if one takes shelter of a pure devotee, one attains all perfection, even if the association is a short one. A sadhu is a pure devotee of the Lord. It has been our practical experience that the first instruction of our spiritual master infused us with Krishna consciousness, so that now we are at least on the path of Krishna consciousness and can understand the philosophy. As a result, there are many devotees engaged in this Krishna consciousness movement. The whole world is revolving under the bodily conception. Therefore, there must be devotees all over the world to deliver people from the false bodily conception and fully engage them in Krishna consciousness. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble, respectful obeisance unto him. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, that's the power of the association of sadhus, saintly persons. So, King Rahugana, just by hearing from Jadabharat and hearing him explaining the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, he understood very clearly that he was not the material body, but he was a spirit soul, different from the body. And because everybody in the world is under the bodily conception, and because of that misidentification of the soul with the material body, so many problems are created, so many misconceptions, misgivings, confusion, wars, so many bad things happen all the time because of that. I remember some years ago, I was in LA in the booth of question and answer. In front of me was a very obese lady. So I was saying, and it is a fact, we are not these material bodies, we are a spirit soul. And the lady said, "Oof, thank you, what a relief." So this philosophy actually gives relief, isn't? Otherwise, the suffering will be much worse, If we believe we are the body, wow, much worse will be the suffering, because suffering is mainly because of ignorance, Basically that, I'll tell you one story, true life story. One lady she had difficulty in approaching water. She was have a phobia against water. She even taking shower was a big trauma, you know. So she went to psychology to find, you know, solution to her problem, you know. So the psychology tried to, you know, with their methods to help her. Then after 6 months treatment, nothing happened. She remained the same. And psychologist felt helpless. He doesn't know what to do, you know. Then he put her in hypnosis and asked her, go back where the problem started. And she started speaking that she was living in an island in Greece, and there was a flood, and the volcano erupted, and all the island drowned in the sea, and she died drowning. So then she understood why she had the trauma. And as soon as she understood that, she felt relief, you know. She wasn't that afraid of water anymore. So this is a true story. And that actually means that all our suffering is based on our ignorance of the fact why we are suffering. Once we know why we are suffering, how to remedy it, then our life is very auspicious. No? That's the way what happened to King Rahugana. I mean, he was totally enlightened by the hearing from the taking shelter of the servant of the Lord. That's very important thing. We can't go directly to Krishna. Our way to go to Krishna is through his servants. Servant of the servant of the servant. And Prabhupada and the purport, he's speaking about his own situation. Prabhupada is saying that because I had contact with a pure devotee, the first instruction of our spiritual master infused in us Krishna consciousness. That the first meeting Prabhupada had with his guru, he's speaking about that. It was infused in him, that understanding. And he carried with him. He didn't forget it. Although he was initiated like 11 years later, but he carried with him. It remained, you know, there in his heart. It didn't go away. So that's the beauty of Krishna consciousness. Once Krishna gets you, you can't escape. It's that simple. It's that simple. Why? Because Krishna is so attractive, so beautiful, so sweet, so compassionate. He has so many wonderful qualities. And he's eternally young and beautiful, and he's inviting us, join my kingdom. Why you're suffering miserably in this world? You know, why you're wasting your time trying to be happy in a place full of suffering? Give up this mentality. I will help you. Just come to me. That is Krishna's plan for every soul. But of course, Krishna doesn't force anyone. One devotee in Phoenix was asking me, why Krishna doesn't just force us to take away our free will? Then we have no problem. We will just... Then I told him, then it has no value. I mean, if you have only one choice to serve Krishna only, you have no other choice, then what is the value of it? But when you have both choices, no, to serve Krishna or to forget him and try to be separate, independent enjoyer of the material world, and you decide to serve Krishna no matter how your impulses wants to take you, your mind impulses or the senses, but still you make your effort to not to do it, but to please Krishna. Then Krishna is so pleased. Understand? So once I remember, one lady devotee asked me, because she suffered every Ekadashi, she will suffer, you know. Yeah, because no grain. That was a big trauma, you know. So, and she asked me this question: why Krishna likes us to suffer. I told her, no, Krishna doesn't want us to suffer. Krishna just wants to see us that we love Him more than we love our body. I mean, there are devotees who don't eat anything on Ekadasi. I mean, the idea is not just fasting. The idea is to please Krishna, to become more Krishna conscious, to have more time to hear and chant. And why we don't eat grain on Ekadasi? Very simple thing. You know the story? That Lord Vishnu went to see Yamaraj in his abode and giving him darshan, answering his questions. And suddenly Lord Vishnu was hearing people crying, suffering. And Lord Vishnu asked Yamaraj, from where this crying is coming? Who are these people? Oh, these are sinful people who are suffering in the hellish planets of their past sins. So Vishnu felt compassion for them, and he flew on Garuda, his eagle carrier, to those planets. And when all of them saw him, they prayed, please give us mercy. We are suffering so badly here. And so Lord Vishnu told them, okay, if you observe the day of Ekadasi, then you will be free from hell very soon. So all of them start to fast completely on Ekadashi, and they start getting released from hell. But then there was a personality called Papa Purusha, who's personified of all the sinful reactions, personified. All of the sins you may imagine, every part of his body represents different sinful activities. So he approached Lord Vishnu and he said, I'm also part of your creation. So where should I take shelter on Ekadasi? And Lord Vishnu told him, okay, you can enter the grains only for that day. Grains means, rice and wheat and corn and all this are called grains. Beans, of course. all the legumes in that family. So that's why the devotee should not eat grains on Ekadasi, no matter what. No matter what. Not what is going to die if he doesn't eat one day. It's just fruit, vegetables, nuts you can take, no problem, Quinoa is good. So I remember when I joined the movement, there were a group of devotees that on Ekadasi, they will wake up after midnight, because at that time we didn't have what we have now, that there's this parana, where when you can break Ekadasi, until what time. At that time we didn't have that. So they wake after midnight thinking the day is over, and they will eat bread and pasta and all pizza at midnight, after midnight, thinking it is over. I never did that, of course. I will never. But I mean to say, just the wrong Western idea that after midnight is the next day. But according to the Vedas, next day is when the sun rises. That's the beginning of the day, not before. Isn't it? So, because Prabhupada here very nicely from his guru, Prabhupada himself tells the story that wherever he in his trouble for his business to maintain the family, he will hear that his guru was nearby city. He will go there to listen to his lectures. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta lecture will not be like 45 minutes or no, that will be like 2-3 hours, sometimes even 4 hours. Even some sannyasi will ask permission to leave because they have some business to do. But Prabhupada said he just stayed. And Prabhupada himself said, although I didn't hear all the profound things that my guru is saying, I still, didn't get. And when he was introduced as a candidate for initiation in Allahabad, Prayag, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta told the brahmachari, yes, he likes to hear very nicely. I'm going to make him my disciple. So that's the qualification, to be eager to hear, to know the truth. And just see, Prabhupada saying, because I heard nicely from my Guru, now I can speak nicely, and see how many people are now chanting Hare Krishna all over the world. Srila Prabhupada's Guru, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, told him, even if no people come, preach to the four walls. And Prabhupada did that. You know that? He was in his room alone, and he was speaking, and he was recording it. And that became the introduction of the Bhagavad Gita. Millions of people heard it later. So the sound vibration is very powerful thing. Very powerful thing. All revolution been done because of somebody's ideals, like that. But this is a spiritual revolution. To change the heart of people, to change the way they think. Everybody's absorbed in the bodily conception of life, that if I give pleasure to my body and my mind, I will be happy. But pleasure is not happiness. Pleasure is just a sensation of the senses and the mind, but is not really happiness. Happiness is a state of full internal peace and harmony and with God, and there is a higher pleasure. Param drishtva nivartate. We have to discover that. Once we experience that higher taste, then we will not be so much attracted to the lower taste. That's the whole secret of Krishna consciousness. Also, when I read this, that Prabhupada quote in the verse that even one moment association of a pure devotee, even if the association even is a short one, remind me of the true story when Prabhupada flew from Mexico to Caracas, Venezuela. On the flight, Prabhupada asked for prasad. And Chittagiri said, Prabhupada, do you like something from the airplane? He said, no, we should have our own prasad. Luckily, one Indian lady devotee gave him at the airport a pack with puffed rice. So he was saved, Immediately after the plane took off, Prabhupada asked for it. So Chittagiri didn't ask for a plate, just opened the folium, the aluminum foil, and although it wasn't too much quantity, Prabhupada ate only half of it. And he gave okay, you take now. So Sridharkirti and Paramahamsa, Swami at that time, they shared their Mahaprasad. When we offer Krishna directly in the altar, that's called Mahaprasad. And when a pure devotee eat that, becomes Mahaprasad, even more purifying. So they were very happily eating their puffed rice, and young stewardess passing through, she grabbed a bunch of that from their plate without their permission, and she bumped it in her mouth. The devotee were shocked, that was not very professional thing to do, usually they don't do that. and she told them, oh, this is so tasty, so nice. What is this? Never had it before. And the devotee, very little nervous, said, oh, this is puffed rice. They explained to her. And she asked, is that all you're going to eat? Well, we are vegetarian unless you bring us some fruit. We will not. Oh, I will bring you. So she brought a basket full of fruit, and she served Prabhupada and the devotees and brought them plate and knives and everything. Prabhupada was smiling at her because he was pleased that she stole them, and did service, And Chittagiri said that when traveling with Prabhupada to the temples, the devotees even will try to bribe him to get some of Prabhupada's remnants or to do some service, He said he never accepted money. But I do remember in Venezuela, when Prabhupada was there, at the time of his lunch or breakfast, we will be outside his room waiting. And we will line up. And Shrutakirti will come out with the plate and he will give us a little morsel of, whatever was left in the plate. And one time, I remember, a devotee came late, he was at the end of the line. And he was desperate that he may not get anything, being the last one. So he came out of the line and jumped on the plate. The plate fell on the floor, making big noise. And we all jumped on it because we don't want to, not to get any. Huh? Yeah. So Prabhupada opened the door because he heard the noise and, just took his head out of the room and he looked. And when he saw us all grabbing his mouth, he smiled, he laughed. Anyway, I grabbed a piece of chewed orange. Immediately I bumped it. Maybe that's why I'm still here. I don't know. Anyway, so then beginning of the 80s, devotees were doing book distribution between Brazil and Venezuela, on the border. There's a city there, and one devotee knocked on somebody's house, and one lady, and he offered the books. She said, "Well, I am interested in this book. Please come inside my room, my house. I will buy some of these books." So as soon as he entered, he was surprised. He saw pictures of Krishna and even Prabhupada, and he asked her, "Oh, how you came to know about this?" She said, "Well, I met Prabhupada on the flight. I was a stewardess, and after that experience, I started visiting the LA temple, and I became devotee. I'm chanting japa and follow the principles." And that was one moment of association, one moment, during the flight. It has everlasting impression in the heart. That's the power, of association with devotees that change the heart of people. Prabhupada said in this world there are so many different associations, Scout Association, what are the different things. And they come together and they make plans, how to do their things or give charity or do this or do that, no? And of course they exchange, they appreciate each other's work, whatever. They give gift, receive gift. So Prabhupada said that's why I created this Krishna conscious movement, to give opportunity to everyone to associate with devotees. Accept gift, give gift. Accept prasad, receive prasad. Ask questions, reveal your mind and confidence. That's the 6 type of loving exchanges, Prabhupada said. So that's the whole idea of Krishna consciousness. And when one is appreciative, when one is aware of his good fortune, that we have received this mercy of trying to understand Krishna consciousness, then we can take better care of it. It's a treasure. It's a great treasure. It's the greatest treasure. Sometimes devotees talk to me having difficulties in their life, and I remind them, please remember, the best thing that happened in your life is to come to Krishna consciousness. That's the best thing that happened in all your life. So everything else compared to that, problems are gonna come and go. Ups and downs, normal. That's part of this world. But we have to tolerate. Matra sparshas tu kauntaya sitoshna sukha dukkada agamapaino nityastam titikshasva bharata. The appearance of happiness and suffering in this world is like winter and summer. They come and go. And Krishna advised Arjuna, tolerate it without being disturbed. People tolerate and they get disturbed. So how to tolerate without being disturbed, that's the challenge. And the way to remain undisturbed is to always remember Krishna. To remember that we are not part of this world, we are not these material bodies. We are eternal souls, servants of Krishna, and our happiness is in loving, serving Krishna. Everything else is comes and goes. Nothing remains in this world, isn't it? So, then we can be undisturbed. Sometimes the devotee asks me, well, what about if I can't tolerate? Suppose somebody is doing something to me and I can't tolerate. Then I say, if you can't tolerate, then you can complain. I mean, it's not artificial. Krishna consciousness is not something artificial imposed in the mind. If you tolerate and get disturbed, then don't tolerate. If there is something you don't agree with, okay, say I don't agree with it, or I don't like this. Sometimes devotee try to be artificially advanced or pure devotees. It doesn't work, You have to be normal. Prabhupada said, once a devotee asked Prabhupada, it is good that when I chant to remember Krishna's pastime. Prabhupada said, yeah, that's very much desired, but don't do it artificially. It will come naturally. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji said, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Guru, he said, don't try to artificially meditate on Radha Krishna Leela. Rather, chant the holy name offenselessly, and in the course of time, the holy name will reveal to you everything. Krishna's form, Krishna's qualities, pastime, everything will be revealed in the course of time. So that means we have to be patient. Prabhupada said the problem is that people are very impatient. They want things immediate, Once in Australia, the devotee asked Prabhupada, how much time take to become fully Krishna conscious? And Prabhupada said, just one moment. 1 second, he said. What that means? Once we take the decision, I will remain Krishna conscious no matter what, then that's it, you made it. It's no question of going back, It's like in the Bhagavad Gita it is said that there are 3 doors to hell, isn't it? Lust, greed, and anger. So we lock the door and throw away the key. And you don't go looking for the key afterward. You already threw out the keys. You already made up your decision. It's no reason to go back, There is a saying in Spanish, a goat that turns away breaks his neck. A goat that turns back, a goat can break his neck because they are tied with a rope. So they are pulling them, and if they make a harsh back movement, they may break their neck. So in the same way, if we are going on our path of Krishna consciousness, we can't go back because we can break our spiritual progress, harm ourselves, So King Rahugana, he understood that Jadabharata was a great devotee, and after hearing from him, he completely was aware of his constitutional position, So the thing is to wake up by understanding our constitutional position of a spirit soul and servant of Krishna. The challenge is to remain awake, not to go back in the lap of Maya, back again. That's the challenge. That's every day's challenge for all devotees. Some or other to remain Krishna conscious throughout the day. And, for example, children may see a horror movie And when they go to sleep, they see monster beneath the bed and the closet, they're afraid to sleep, And the father takes them to Universal Studio, and they see how everything is make up and, and all this thing. Oh, so this is not real. Yes, the father say, you don't have to be afraid. It's not real. It's just make up. Oh, okay, we're happy now. So in the same way, sometimes Krishna show us the real face of Maya. So we can, get free of the illusion that this is real. Then we can, lose our fear of it. We are not going to die. It's an illusion. Only the body is going to die. We are eternal soul. So there is nothing to lament, actually, about, The only thing to lament is that the association of the body. Because when Lord Chaitanya asked Ramananda Roy, what is the greatest pain in this world? And he said, feeling the separation of the devotees, to miss the pure devotees. Just a few days ago, I shared a quote with the devotees that Radharani is telling Krishna, if by you going to Mathura, I'm suffering, So if my suffering gives you happiness, then let me suffer forever. So some devotees misunderstood that also. So Krishna enjoyed that we are suffering. How does that apply to us? Can I offer Krishna my suffering? I don't know. No, you don't. Sometimes I meet new people don't know nothing about Krishna consciousness. They tell me, I have a great pain here in the rib case. Can I offer that to God, that pain? He said, no, Krishna doesn't need your pain. You offer him your love and service. So I told this devotee, no, you don't understand. When devotees feel separation from Krishna, it looks like they're suffering because they cry, they're missing, But that's another type of ecstasy. Internally, they are enjoying because they're remembering Krishna more intensely. They are eager, that's called the greed, eagerness. And that is, it may appear to the eye, like suffering, but it's another type of spiritual happiness, to miss the association of the Lord. That's called laulyam. It's not. Don't think this suffering like we know what suffering in this world. It's not anything to do with that. Oh, the person was relieved. Also, thank you. Now because after all, this material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. So. We sometimes see in the airport people crying, because their family member, they're going, some other place. And then we can remember, that's when Krishna left Mathura, the gopis were crying and they wanted him to go, So anything can remind us of Krishna if we are Krishna conscious. And that's the whole point, Some or other, we have to become, develop eagerness, eagerness. To live day after day with this hope after hope, that one day Krishna may favor me. And that's how devotees keep their life, with this hope, And that's what happened to Navitans of Vrindavan. They were kept alive because Krishna promised them, I will come back. Only because of that promise, they remained alive. Even Krishna's friend, his name is Sridham, he told Krishna, I'm going to climb the top of this tree to wait for your return. And if you don't return, I'm going to jump from that tree. No, please, don't do that. I'm going to return soon. And when Lord Chaitanya went to that forest in Vrindavan, somebody put a deity of Sridham on the top of a tree to reminiscence that past time. And when Lord Chaitanya arrived there, he with his both golden arms, he said, Sridham, I came back. Of course, he is Krishna himself. You may say, yeah, he made him wait 4,500 years. But time for pure devotee is nothing. Like when Lord Chaitanya, he was in Mahaprakash, great revelation of divinity, he will give all his devotees Krishna prema, love of Krishna. And one devotee announced, oh, your devotee Mukunda is coming. Lord Chaitanya said, don't allow him in. Why? He's your dear devotee. No, he's a chameleon. He's a chameleon. I don't want to see him. When he's with the devotee, he speak about Bhakti. When he is with personality, he speak about Mukti. No, I don't want to see him. So he was told, the devotee. Lord Chaitanya said, you can't see him. Please tell him when in the future he will allow me to see. And Lord Chaitanya answered, tell him in 1,000,000 births. When Mukunda heard that, he started dancing. I will see him in the future, but I will see him. When Lord Chaitanya heard about his great patience, he called him, come immediately. I was just testing your patience. So, Lord Chaitanya used to say, actually I have no pinch of love for Krishna. Somebody may tell me, but I see tears in your eyes. How is that you don't love Krishna? Well, this is just to show my good fortune. But if I actually did love Krishna, how can I still be alive? How could I still maintain this body if I really love Krishna? So somebody who really has pure love for Krishna, he will think I have no pinch of love of Krishna. At all. Nothing. Zero. But you hear sometimes people, oh, I love God so much, But then they do all the opposite of God's bidding, Prabhupada used to challenge people like that. Okay, you say you love God, why you're disobeying Him? If you love Him, why you're disobeying? And how am I disobeying Him? Well, Bible says you should not kill. You are very expert at killing and eating animals, so you are disobeying God. He challenged like that. So anyway, so this is the mission of this Krishna conscious movement, to deliver all people of the world from the bodily conception of life through the understanding of Krishna consciousness properly. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any comments or questions?
Maharaj?
Yeah. One moment, Vijay. Vijay too.
Yes, I can wait, Maharaj, no problem.
Okay.
In this purport, there's one statement, Prabhupada makes a statement that is so astounding. So it says, it has been our practical experience that the first instruction of our spiritual master infused us with Krishna consciousness, so that now we are at least on the path of Krishna consciousness. Second is then a philosophy. We're at least on the path. He's talking about himself.
Yeah, of course he's speaking about himself.
Yeah, it's rare in the purport where he...
Yeah, that's Prabhupada's humility, that we are trying to be in the path of Krishna consciousness. Now we are in the path, and we are trying to make others also.
Newspaper reporter asked Prabhupada, how long have you been in New York City? Newspaper reporter, I was there. We were doing Sankirtan. Wherever Prabhupada went, we would follow him. And a newspaper reporter asked Prabhupada, how long have you been a devotee? Prabhupada stopped and said, trying to be a devotee. Prabhupada was thinking, I'm not really a full devotee, I'm just trying to. So it would come out every now and then,
Yes. That's the symptom of pure devotees. Once I remember I called the Mexico temple and somebody answered the phone. I asked him, what's your name? He said, oh, I'm Prabhu Joaquin. Oh, my obeisances, Prabhu Joaquin. No, no, Maharaj. I told him, maybe you don't know, but we are not supposed to call ourselves Prabhu. Others may call us if they want to, but we are not calling ourselves Prabhu. Prabhu means master, you know. We are servant, we are das. Oh, thank you, I didn't know that.
We had a devotee, in our temple. Just along the theme to help you out. There was a devotee, his name was Dave, and he moved in, and so, you know, in those days, if they could stand up, they could move in. So he moved in, and his name was Dave, so we said, oh, we'll call you Bhakti Dave. He said, no, you can call me Guru Dave. We said, I don't know if this guy's going to work out. He's got a few edges he's got to wear off.
Hare Krishna.
Okay.
One little comment. It'll take 30 seconds. Less than that.
Okay, go ahead.
So while this whole pastime where he Rahugana is appreciating and how he was transformed just by hearing.
Yeah.
So I recall that in the Bhagavatam, Prabhupada says in one purport that that's the most important qualification, the eagerness to hear, and you referred to that in the pastime of Prabhupada where he would stay and listen.
Yeah.
So I just found this one quote. It's from the second purport, from the second purport in the whole Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
The proper method for receiving this transcendental message of Krishna consciousness is to hear it submissively. A challenging attitude cannot help one realize this transcendental message. One particular word used in this verse is shu-shu-sho, the second verse. One must be anxious to hear this transcendental message. The desire to sincerely hear is the first qualification.
Thank you, very nice quote. That reminds me of one pastime Prabhupada told himself about his eagerness to hear, He was sitting hearing his guru giving the lecture, and one old Vaishnava sat next to him, and he asked him a question. So Prabhupada lended his ear to see. The Vaishnava was asking how long ago the lecture started. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta saw both of them, and he stopped them. He said, Babu such and such, do you think that you bought me by giving me donation? You don't need to listen to me attentively? And to Prabhupada he said, and you, do you want to come here and give the lecture yourself? Prabhupada said after that he was much more attentive, Prabhupada didn't say a word, he just moved his head toward the Vaishnava, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was very strict, Oh yes, Vijay Prabhu, ask your question.
Yes, Maharaj, thank you very much. You're very kind. My humble obeisances. Maharaj, my question is, what is the reason for the bodily conception of life to be categorized as not glorious?
I didn't understand the question.
What was the last? Can you repeat that? Not glorious. Why is the bodily concept of life not glorious?
Not glorious?
Glorious?
How long has he been listening to
Yes, because in the translation to the verse, to the text you chose for today, whoever takes shelter of the servant of the Lord is certainly glorified, because he can, without difficulty, give up the bodily conception. So the person who gives up the bodily conception becomes glorified. That is the same as to say that who takes the bodily conception of life as everything is not glorious, obviously.
Obviously not. Obviously not. Yeah, there's nothing. No, it's just a comment. It seems to me that.
No, my question is, my obvious question is, why is it that a person who accepts the bodily conception of life as everything is not recognized in accordance with this verse as glorious?
Oh, he's misunderstood, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think he's thinking that the person who thinks their body is glorious.
Oh,
I
okay.
think he's still with us. I think he's still got the basic
Yeah, he got the basic idea, yeah. Well, I mean, the Bhagavatam said that...
Ask him to see if that's what he, and I don't want to prolong the torture, but just see this. See if he's actually got it or not.
Okay, you tell him by the mic.
Vijay? This is
Yes,
Bhajanarayan
Maharaj.
Swami. We're not sure we understand your question. Are you saying that the person, why should the person who thinks they're this body be considered glorious? Is
Or
that
not.
what you're saying? Who has someone in the bodily concept of life?
It's not glorious.
Why should they be considered glorious? Is that what you're saying?
No, the opposite.
He is
Why
saying
is
the
it-
opposite. Exactly.
The opposite.
So are you saying, which is quite a shock to us, are you saying that someone in the bodily concept of life should be considered glorious?
No, the opposite, Maharaj.
Well, you can't say the opposite twice. Help us.
Maharaj, in accordance
Wait,
with
hang
this-
on, Vijay. We're
Yes.
handing you over. I struck out. We're going to give another person a try. I think it's a devil's advocate
Vijay Krishna, this is a devil's advocate question, correct? You're asking why are they not considered glorious? Why is somebody who's in the body concept of life not considered glorious? As a devil's advocate question, right?
Yes, Prabhu, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So that's simple, very... All right. So why a person in the bodily conception of life is not glorious?
Yes, that is
Because...
my question.
Very good question. Thank you. The reason is, no. He's asking why is not considered glorious. Anyway, he may think, I don't know. We can't guess what is in his mind. At least we just try to answer the question. Why people in the bodily conception are not glorious? The simple reason is that if you put your faith in being happy in a material body, you are going to be frustrated. You may have a lot of money, beauty, youth, lovers, family, whatever you want, but it's going to end in disease, old age, and death. So where is the glory in that? There is no glory in that. Did you understand?
Oh, Maharaj, you gave me the exact answer to my question. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
You're welcome, Vijay. Thank you for your question. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I know. I visited Portugal sometime.
You visited him?
The temple, I don't know if he was there.
He's in the Azores, I think.
Oh, okay. No, I went to Lisbon 3 years ago. All right. No more questions? Comments? Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanandi Haribo.